Hello, true believers. This is Hank Garner.
Hi, this is Krista Welsh.
Hey, it's Josh Hayes.
Hey, this is Terry R. Hill, and you're listening to
30-minute author interviews
with Preston Lay.
Woohoo!
We have a great giveaway from Michael Bunker and Forbes West, but first I want to tell you about two of our sponsors. First up is Cereal Box. Cereal Box delivers exciting episodes of ongoing stories straight to your device every Wednesday. They bring everything that's awesome about TV to what's already cool about books with addicting serials you can take with you on the go. All of their episodes are available in text and audio, and their sleek app makes reading easier than ever. They have a range of titles from gritty urban thrillers to sexy sword-fighting fantasies and everything in between. Season 2 of The Witch Who Came In From the Cold just started up. The Witch Who Came In From the Cold. All the subterfuge of the Americans with a dark dose of magic. Head on over to cerealbox.com where you can read and listen to it now. And of course, the first episode of Season 1 is free, so you can check it out there. Cerealbox.com, SERIALBOX.com. Our second sponsor this week is the Galactic Satori Chronicles, written by Nick Breaker and Paul E. Hicks. A thirst for revenge sends one man on a deadly journey through the galaxy in this adrenaline-pumping new series. Asher is a young man whose world is turned upside down when he discovers that his fiance's death has been directly caused by an imminent alien invasion. In a desire to better understand humans in order to destroy them, these aliens are projecting their consciousness into unsuspecting men and women, and in the process are learning exactly how to use humanity's own selfishness and greed as weapons against them. Fueled by emotions that the aliens will never understand, Asher bands together with a group of friends. These four MIT co-eds are more than meets the eye and go to battle with those who are intent on destroying our planet. Asher takes the fight from Earth to an alien spaceship and then to the very planet of the enemy trying to destroy them. Galactic Satori Chronicles can be found on Amazon, where Book 1 Earth and Book 2 Kron are only 99 cents. And now for the giveaway. Michael Bunker and Forbes West would like to give one winner the chance to win a signed copy of Nighthawks at the Mission by Forbes West and Brother Frank by Michael Bunker. All you have to do is head over to the show notes at Leigendarium.com and let me know what was your favorite part of this interview. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy Michael Bunker and Forbes West. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of 30-Minute Author Interviews. This week, we actually have two guests with us. We have Michael Bunker and Forbes West. Thank you all for taking time out of your day and coming on 30-Minute Author Interviews.
Very pleased to be on. Thank you. My name is Michael Bunker, and I'm just loving every second of this whole thing. This podcast is genius, absolute genius. I told the other men in the bucket, I said, look, there's a man out there named Preston, and he knows how to do 30 minutes well.
There's not one person is ever going to believe that you're Michael Bunker. Not one person. Not one person.
Actually, it's Kevin Costner is on the line. Preston, I think I'm pretty impressed you have Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going back to that old chestnut. the old Bunker's Kevin Costner chestnut.
That's funny. That is funny. Well, here, Forbes, this is your second time on, but we this is Michael's first. So we actually, since you have been on, started off with a new segment that we like to open up with. We open up with a segment called Two Truths and a Lie, where y'all will each take turns telling me two truths and a lie about yourself, and I have to try to guess which one is the lie. I'm actually on a one guessing win streak right now, so I have a feeling it's going to be broken this week. We will start with Michael first, since this is his first time on here. Do you have two truths and a lie about yourself that I can try to guess?
Yeah, I'm going to make them up as I go along. So. Okay.
As long as two of them are true.
Number one, I took a bath on a volcano.
Okay.
Number 2, I had drinks with Pat Buchanan. And number 3, I jumped out of a plane.
Okay, so
Two truths and a lie.
Yeah, 2 truths and a lie. I hope that the volcano one is true because that would be pretty awesome.
And he doesn't bathe.
Well, that
Oh, it is true. Number 1 is true.
Number 1 is true. All right. So number 1 is true. So we're down to having dinner with Pat Buchanan or jumping out of an airplane.
Drinks. With Pat Buchanan. That's
drinks. Sorry,
that
drinks.
Should give you a clue.
That should give me a clue.
Yeah.
I've actually never heard you talk about skydiving at all. I've never seen anything about you skydiving since I've been following you in the indie world. So I'm going to say the skydiving one is the lie.
You are correct, sir.
Awesome.
You got it right. XP for that.
I wouldn't jump out of a plane, even if it was crashing.
Neither would I. I hate heights. I did indoor skydiving, and that's it. So
yeah. I'm not getting in a plane, so I'm definitely not jumping out of one.
Yeah.
By the way, like Preston, I actually met Michael in person. He's like 6'5". I don't know who would strap himself onto if you jumped out of a plane. You know, because you always have like the person you have to like. Right. You know, you always get grouped up with someone the first time because they don't let you just like, oh, here's your shoot.
And
go.
it's like a professional soccer player that's like 5'7", weighs like $140.
Yeah.
I would crush him.
You'd be coming down to land on the ground, and they'd be like, "Pick your legs up," and you'd be like, "I can't. They're already as high as they go."
I know it's just like we just like rip off the straps. You know, all of a sudden we just like pop out, and then the guy has to like do like a point break cannonball to try to catch us, and that's not going to work.
Yeah. It's like you're getting on the plane and there's the Vietnamese girl going, "No tubuku."
That is hilarious. All right, Forbes, let's see if I can get your 2 truths and a lie.
All right, let's see. I used to be a member of the Communist Party. I own a home in Japan. And I actually saved a man from drowning in Key West, and he took me out for drinks afterwards.
Oh my God.
Well, I know that you have a house in Japan.
Yeah, this is like on his bio. All of these are on his bio.
And well, making sure Preston's paying attention. Last time Preston kept referring to me as Oliver.
Well, yeah.
So,
Preston
all right.
Sometimes he's stunned.
I could see you maybe saving somebody's life in Key West.
No.
No, I've never saved a guy in Key West. No, yeah, I cannot. I could totally swim though. I could swim like the Dickens, but no, I've never seen.
No, mouth to mouth is not happening.
No, I mean, come on, like everyone. If I saved a guy and I had to give him mouth to mouth, everyone's gonna look, right?
Right.
Well, yeah, but it's just
how embarrassing
that's not gonna happen. You have a drink and you're on your boat and you see the guy drowning. You look at the drink and you're like, nah.
No. And then I text Michael 2 seconds later going LOL and then take a picture.
That's right. Sorry.
With the drink in the foreground.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Well, for those that might not know who y'all are or what y'all do, Forbes, we'll start with you this time. Why don't you kind of let the listeners know who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm pretty much a writer and producer. So I've done my own short film on the border, and I've written more than a few books. My first one was Nighthawks at the Mission. And then I wrote a couple in the Apocalypse Weird segments, which was a good little company there for a while. I was Medium Talent and Bad Dream Man. I got some other short stories out there too. One of them is in Tales of Tinfoil, edited by David Gatewood. That's Day for Night. You can find that all on the Amazon. And that's pretty much just who I am. I'm just a simple man. I'm just trying to make my way through life. Not trying to put on any airs or anything like that, unlike the person you're going to turn to next.
And he has girl hands.
He has girl hands.
I do not have girl hands. I moisturize. God forbid someone moisturizes.
There we go. That's funny. Well, Michael, for those that might not know who you are, I mean, you kind of wrote a small book called Pennsylvania.
Wrote that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you let the people know who you are and what you do?
I'm a writer full time. I write quite a few short stories. I've written a few novels. I wrote a nonfiction book called Surviving Off Grid that just kind of got made into a documentary that just came out this past month.
It
inspired on that. And then I'm also I own a small farm in Central Texas. I live off grid in a plain community, plain, so people think kind of Amish Mennonite-ish. And that's pretty much it. I think I can't think of anything else.
Okay. Well, I must say I'm not sure what your most popular book is besides Pennsylvania, but I think one of my favorite stories that you have done, and I don't know if I've told you this online, but the Santa Ana Gold is probably one of my favorite stories that you've done. I love your take on time travel in that story.
Yeah, that's been a very, very popular one, and probably up there close to Pennsylvania, and people telling me that it's their favorite story. Surprisingly enough, the time travel story that I put out earlier or late last year called Jessup's Door is kind of up there neck and neck with Santa Ana Gold as people's favorite stories that I've ever written. But
okay.
Of course, none of those have sold as much as Pennsylvania. But I think as far as the story goes, there's probably as many people that like it.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, you sold was it the film rights to Pennsylvania?
The option. Right.
The option, yeah. What's the latest update for those that might be curious?
All right. Well, we sold the film option, the first option in November of 2015. Resold the option because it's always a 1-year option. Resold the option again in 2016, and Forbes and I actually wrote the first screenplay, and we were fired from writing the screenplay, not for anything that we did, any neglect or poor performance or drinking on the job or anything like that. We were fired because there's a big name producer that's involved, but I can't say his name yet, but hopefully I'll be able to say it here pretty quickly. He wanted a more experienced, bigger name, someone with a lot of credits on the screenplay, so that as they try to attach more people, that will be easier to do. So we had a new screenplay. I got to read it about 2 weeks ago. It's very, very good. It's very along the line with the novel. And last I talked to the producer. The big name producer is going to be reading it this week, and the financing looks to be lined up, and all the ducks seem to be in a row. So hopefully things are going to start dropping here pretty quick, but things look really, really good right now.
Now, also the evidence has been burned too, Preston. Let me just put a point on that one.
Okay.
So everything's been destroyed. All the background has been, eliminated. Witnesses disappeared. Michael's in the clear again.
That's right.
So we're all happy.
Right.
God bless.
I had
still making that monthly payment to Forbes to keep quiet, but that could go away too.
Right.
Yeah. We'll see about that. Might just be upped, sir.
So I had no idea that the rights were only good for 1 year at a time. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, you got to separate rights from option.
Oh, option. Okay, option.
Yeah. Had they actually bought the rights, and then that would that falls under a different time period. But when they buy an option is for 1 year and has to be renewed year to year. Okay.
Now, can you tell us if they're looking at making a movie or a mini series?
Right now, it's looking like a trilogy, big budget.
Oh, wow.
Like big budget trilogy. So this past week, they asked me to go ahead and submit the outline and the story for Oklahoma, which is the second book. And they're pretty sure that it's looking that way, that they're looking at it as a trilogy. So that would be great. That would be beyond my imagination or what I had dreamed of for it. So that's good.
That's awesome. And do you still have hardback copies and paperback copies of Pennsylvania if anybody wants to get one before this hopefully blows up?
Yeah, I do. In fact, I have a signed bookstore they can get from get there from michaelbunker.com. Just go to the signed bookstore and people can get copies because most likely here's what's going to happen. That I can't say it yet, but the title of the movie is not going to be Pennsylvania.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and so and for a lot of reasons, but anyways, if that happens, they most likely are going to do a movie tie-in series of the book that will be titled after the movie and not the book. So the hardback copies of Pennsylvania signed before any movie gets made are going to be pretty nice to have.
There you go. And I have a copy of it, and it's a gorgeous hardback, and it's a very good looking paperback. So go and buy one before it blows up.
Right.
Well, we have y'all on here today to talk about a book series that y'all are kind of writing together called Time Looter, which is kind of it's Michael, I think I'll let you, since this is kind of all stemming from a story of yours, why don't you tell the people about the Patreon, the story with the Patreon, and then how Time Looter came about.
Tyler came out of my brain there. But
of course, your brain. I'm sorry.
I was going to give you credit. I'm going to give you credit.
The Michael Bunker show here. I'm fascinated by this. Fascinated.
Hey, I was going to include you.
Oh yeah, you're going to be like, I'll snap my suspenders.
This is why.
Here.
What's happening right now is why. This is why he asked me to tell the story.
No, it is not at all. No, this is all lies. Preston, you're just blowing this whole thing. I'm sorry.
Hey, go run and empty the ashtray and let me tell the story, and then you can add afterwards. All right?
I'm going to smoke it and just keep talking. I don't care.
Anyway, so I wrote a story. I'm writing a book called Hell in the Sea. And in the Hell in the Sea, there's a character that's actually based loosely on Forbes and myself. And
I finally got you on tape admitting that. All right, good.
I told you that since the beginning. So anyway,
the libel suit is going.
Ignore him. And so there's a character named Fenton Cooper. So we decided that we were it's kind of that character really embodies our goofy relationship. And so I were writing Pennsylvania and got fired from that, and we wanted to do something else. And we had done a few projects together that we haven't continued on. One of them was a series that we probably are going to pick up, and it's called There You Fixed It, where Forbes and I just sit around and talk about problems in the world or things that are in the news, and we just fix it. And and that's like a comedy bit. And so I came to Forbes and I said, listen, we need to do something. We need to do a screenplay on something that we want to do. And Forbes came up with the idea for Time Looter, and we were going to write it as a screenplay. And then I had the idea, hey, I think that people that buy screenplays would understand the story more if we actually wrote it as a novel first. And then we came up with the idea of doing it as a serialized series, like a TV series, so that when we do pitch it to somebody like in Hollywood, that they'll be able to see it as we see it, as this continuing comedy series. So is that okay, Forbes? You want to take over from there?
No, that was fine. That was fine. It's just, that was it. It came out of my brain. It was a dream I had of being locked on the Titanic. And something happened. Michael was yammering at me about something about Mars, and then I was in the gym, and I texted him back, and Michael was like, yeah, something Mars, and then we got into Titanic, and then I said, oh, I got Genius here, and I sent him Genius, and that's where we're at.
Okay. Well, Forbes, why don't you give people the kind of non-spoiler book blurb on what Time Looter is about?
Time Looter is about a jerk named Casey Atlas, who is a guy going to Cal State Long Beach in a fictional PhD program over there. And he's basically in there because his uncle is rich. His dad was rich. His dad just passed away. And his uncle pulls strings so he doesn't become a layabout, useless loser for the rest of his life. So Casey gets into this program. And what he does is that as he's there, he runs into two uber nerds who tell him that over the course of the summer, they actually invented time travel. And he wants in on that big time. For multiple reasons. Number one reason, though, is that because people think he's an idiot and a jerk, so he wants to kind of prove himself. A guy who actually invents time travel. That looks good on any resume, so that's why he's on board. But shenanigans ensues, as the kids would say, and things take a turn to the darker side. And Michael, am I missing anything on that? Is that basically it? Should I keep going or?
No, that's basically it. Basically, it's a brutal kind of. The guy's intelligent, but he's kind of a selfish, narcissistic, California kind of a vicious guy. So, I mean, I don't know where we would ever come up with a model for somebody like that, but we modeled it on somebody, and then but through the story, he starts to have a conscience and all of this, but it's all comedy, and it's really kind of very much based on the way that Forbes and I banter back and forth, and there's a lot of great time travel gags in there. Jim Butcher loved it, and I can't remember the exact quote, but I mean, it's like he says, like the best book since El Cid or something like that.
Jim said something about like Idiocracy meets he had a
Back to the Future.
Idiocracy meets Back to the Future. Yeah, that was what he put it at. Jim Butcher, he's the author of the Dresden Files.
Dresden Files,
yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. So again, got a big name backing us finally. Michael's not screwing it up like last time with Pennsylvania. So far so good. Michael hasn't written like an odd post about like how like he's blaming some higher up that he doesn't name, but you know who it is.
Here's basically how it works: is that Forbes like writes stream of consciousness for about a week, and it's comes to me and it's horrible. There's no structure, and it's not that funny. And then I basically I make it funny and make it readable.
Yeah, you're the Don Rickles.
The product of that here. The product of that we call Fenton Cooper as the author. Going back to Hell in the Sea, that we wrote this as Fenton Cooper, mm-hmm. and it works. There actually is a very, very good working thing we got going. We have our sense of humor is Forbes is very. I don't know if you experienced it, but he's very like put offish. He's funny, but he's kind of funny like you would throw him off a cliff after about 2, 3, 4 minutes with him. What I do is take a little bit of that edge off and add just a little bit of texture where you want to kind of stick around for another couple seasons.
Right.
And then, let me put it this way. Let me put it in a way that Michael could understand. What happens is, Preston, I come in and I have this beautiful glass of scotch. It's a 25-year-old scotch. It is the best thing any drinking man has ever had. Now, granted, it may not be for everyone, but I mean, we're talking top of the line. This is Johnny Walker Blue I'm showing up with, or Hibiki 21, something like that. This is perfect. Then here comes Michael. He comes in, snapping his suspenders, dum-da-dum-da-dum. Oh, that looks good. Let me add some Kool-Aid. I can make it go down easier.
No, he's got antifreeze, and I dump that out, and I pour the cup of scotch.
That's funny.
But I go back.
That's a bad metaphor. That doesn't make sense.
You just shut up. It actually works. Works pretty well. He comes up with some really funny situations and all that. Of course, he's got everybody doing coke, and they're all pimping out on the corner or something, and everybody only knows one word that starts with F, and so I go in there and straighten all that out.
That's funny. So one thing that people might notice with it is you're not calling them like book 1 or book 2. You're calling it episode 1 and episode 2. So how many episodes do y'all see this going?
The first season is going to be 4 episodes, and then we may expand that in the second season. But we've seen this from the very beginning. We saw this as a TV show, and that's really why we wrote it. We weren't writing this for any particular reading audience. We just both felt like this is something that somebody would understand better, the direction and the type of humor, if they were able to read it. And so, and then it's
got like a cinematic quality. I think that's like
the
one
very
thing.
much.
It's very visual.
Very much written for the screen, but at the same time, it's there's only like 3 books in my whole life that I actually just was in tears laughing at. And I don't mean to put this in the category of some of those greatest books, but I'll tell you, when on Time Looter 1 and 2 is only that, when you write it, you're going through it 30, 40 times and everything stops being funny after that many times. I was still laughing out loud, wiping tears away after all of those times, and even reading it after it was published. We're writing Time Looter 3, right?
Yeah, Michael, are you still there? It sounded like you were like turned into a robot for a second.
I heard your high-pitched interruption, so I just dropped out.
As you're stuttering like a robot. Anyway, it really is true. And it sounds like a total like ass move to say, like, oh my God, I'm reading my own stuff 30, 40 times. It never gets any better. It's so good. It so much makes me want to laugh, but actually it does. It's a weird alchemy that happens. I don't know what kind of dark sorcery, Michael's doing out in the Texas Badlands, but I mean, like, between like the stuff he comes up with, and then like I know I could throw out a good funny chuckle now and again, but somehow we mesh in a way that it still does come off funny. I mean, like, there's been times when I'm reading over what Michael did after I sent over my stuff, and I'm cracking up, and I already know where the freaking story obviously is going, because like I kind of provide a lot of the direction, the bones, and like the structure of it. But no, I mean, it does make me just really just like laugh out loud hard. And then there was a time where me and Michael, we were going to go to the book signing in Austin, and I was drinking bourbon at 9:00 in the morning. I don't think Bunker was, but then Bunker started reading me his part that he was doing for the next updated section, and I almost spit it out because I was just dying of laughter. And then I'm realizing it's so weird again, because I know I wrote like, again, half of that, so I already know what the hell that is.
Probably more than half. He probably wrote more than half, but it's just that. No, it's true, but at the same time, it wasn't fun until I got a hold of it. So the part that I did was the part that pushed over the top.
I'm not sure how Texas didn't implode when y'all were in the same state doing the book signings.
I have to tell you a true story. You
sound like a robot again. Am I getting this pressing? Does he sound like a robot?
Yeah, you're starting to break up a little bit, Michael.
Oh, so, Michael.
You be quiet. I'm going to tell this true story. We're driving to Fredericksburg and from Austin.
Oh my God!
Would you be quiet? So we stop at this. This is Johnson City, which is where LBJ is from. You really can't get more Texas kind of.
Sorry,
and
Michael,
I told him,
is that on your end too? Because that sounds awful.
Yeah, we're having a hard time understanding you, Michael. You're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, Michael, just give us like a second, because I think it's just really breaking up hard. See, Preston, he's trying to talk crap to me, but again, it's just the robot is malfunctioning. Actually, what people don't know is that when I went to Texas, I found out that Michael is actually a replicant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's only got a 4-year lifespan. I think it's running out.
The other is not.
Oh, jeez, man. Oh, boy.
Is it better now? Is it better? Can I talk now?
It's still slightly a little choppy, but
all right. I'll just listen to you. Go tell.
No. I'm telling you the truth.
Tell the story. Tell the story about you screaming at the guy in the gas station.
Preston, if you want to take a chance at solving the puzzle there, did you understand what he said?
Something about you can tell a story about screaming at somebody at a gas station, I think.
Yes. Okay. So this is what it was. Okay. So what happened is that I'm in Michael's truck and we're going to Johnson City. Johnson City is famous for having the name Johnson, and actually that's where LBJ came from, Lyndon Johnson. Okay. That's his hometown, and it was as depressing as I could have possibly imagined. So I go into the store. It's a gas station, but it's also a fried chicken place. So I go into there, and the entire place is completely empty. There's there's no cashier at the front. The register's right there. There's like all this kind of stuff. Just like out in the open. There's no one watching the store. So I walk through and I go, okay, Michael gave me money to go pay for gas, and he's going to, sit there at the pump and, smoke a cigar next to the gas or whatever he does. Something dangerous and inappropriate. And I'm walking through the whole store, and I can't find anyone for like literally 10 minutes. I can't find a single soul. I finally get in the back. There's a girl like fried chicken by herself. And she goes, oh, no, I don't really, I just run the store side. There's supposed to be a gas station side guy. That's what he does. And I go, oh, okay. So I walk back, and then all of a sudden I'm standing in the front of the gas station side, and I see Michael out there. Michael's like throwing up his hands like, what did you do? Like I'm like making a mistake. This Indian guy comes out from the bathroom, and he starts just like screaming at me. He's just like, why is your friend coming over and pumping gas? And he's not authorized to pump gas. There's nothing that's going to happen with that. He's not supposed to do that. I have no idea why he's pumping gas at this point. And I go, like, look, buddy, like, whoa, back up here. You're not watching the store. You're not doing anything. You got the whole place wide open. I could rob this place 3 times over, and you haven't done shit. So stop getting in my face about this. All right? That's enough is enough. So I yell, and then Michael's like, like still throwing up his hands to walk out into the, the gas station side, and, walk out to where the pumps are at. Michael's throwing up his hands, and I'm like, God, what is with this town? What are they? You know,
can I tell the real story now? Is my microphone working?
Yeah, it sounds better now.
Can I tell the real story? Really?
Yeah, you can edit it.
And so I tell him at the beginning of the trip, I said, Austin's very rural, you fit and everybody's going to love you. You get outside the city limits, you need to throttle back from 11 to like 2 because everybody has guns and they're not going to put up with your attitude, your Chicago street attitude, and you better throttle it back. So we're driving into like most redneck places. This is where LA is. This is where they suicide you 6 times through a glass window. Mm-hmm. And this is shoot JFK City, and so we pull into the station, and I'm waiting there for like 10 minutes, and I'm hit button trying to turn the gas pumps on, and I come inside, and he's like screaming like he's like I'm trying to walk here, and he's hitting the counter and saying things like you're out of order, everybody's out of order, And then I'm going to go pump the gas. So I go out to pump the gas, and I pump the gas, and he comes running, and he's like, get in the car, go. And so we jump in the car. I'm like, what happened? He said, yeah, I straight in now.
That is funny.
That's what really happened.
Right. That's funny. I don't know if there's a story to it. Is there a story to how y'all met each other?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't really.
Big brothers and big sisters of San Marino County.
Okay.
And I was there trying to give up my time. He was there, didn't have a dad. He was like, be my dad. I said, I can't. I already have children, but I'll be your big brother. And then he's like, he got all mad and started following me home and throwing things at my house. And,
that's funny.
I thought we met I remember I was at the Golden Nugget outside Vegas, and you were begging a guy not to break your thumbs in the parking lot. And I said, hey, everyone, he's just a man. And then after that point, you're like, hey, that guy's good. He actually stuck up for me. And the other guy was like, kid, you got balls, but this is what next time. This guy is 86 from the Golden Nugget. No way he's coming back here without I'm getting his thumbs.
That's funny.
And I drove you to the airport, and he talked to me for like 2 years. And then finally you just said, hey, Nighthawks is a great book. Good job.
There we go.
That's actually how we met. That whole first part was a lie, but actually I did. I read Nighthawks, and it was horrible, and it was good, and it was horrible. It was like no one. I don't think he ever had it edited. I think he actually held it at the window. He held it at the window and asked people for corrections, and I read it, and I said I told him I think it's horrible, but it's brilliant. I think there's a lot of gold in there, and it's like a very it's what it used to be or what it could be, and you don't know if you want to put $250,000 into it, but that's what it would take to fix it. But it still, has value. And so that I don't think anybody ever read anything he'd ever written before. And after that, he was like with my dad, and I was like, no, I won't, but I'll be your big brother, and help you as much as I can if you'll go into rehab.
There we go.
Hey, Preston, you ever seen Amadeus? You remember that movie, Mozart?
I've seen bits and pieces. Our band director would put it on like we were supposed to watch it whenever he would go out of town, but we would all just sit around and play cards and stuff.
Well, okay. So long story short with that one, Michael is the Italian guy who hates Mozart because he's a hack. Uh-huh. And then the guy at the end is just like, oh, Mozart. It's like, oh, I figured out finally. It wasn't Mozart laughing at me. It was God.
Wait, I'm the one that got an Oscar for that. You're telling me I'm the one that got an Oscar for that movie?
Oh yeah, because again, you're F. Murray Abrams. Yeah, that's what I was getting out of that story.
You were really saying that I'm the one that got the Oscar for that movie. One that no one could even remember that Mozart.
That's too funny.
But this is what it's like. He's got like 54 followers on Facebook and Twitter combined. And I turn around and the guy's standing on my coattails, and I'm like, kind of get off if you would, and he just stays there.
And of course, I know he disagreed with this last time, but people do think that Forbes West is Alistair Foley sometimes.
That is totally not
very
true.
confusing because for a long time I was accused regularly that Forbes didn't even exist. And the only reason that could happen is no one really knew who he was. but everybody knew who I was.
Mhm.
And so that tells you where we were in the hierarchy of the relationship. But, so I was definitely the guy that everybody knew. But after a while, I was like, that's ridiculous, because I would never say the stuff that comes out of his mouth. I would never do that.
Preston,
I have
to give it
morality, and I had a dad.
Preston, our whole relationship really is just like I'm the Kato Kalin and he's the OJ.
Oh, okay.
So, take it as it is. Okay, I'm crashing the guest, but I'm hearing thumps in the night and I'm confused and I'm scared.
That's funny. That's too funny. Well, everybody can go check out your story time. I just X'd it out. Time Looter.
Time Looter
over at Amazon. Episode 1 and 2 are up there. Or you can sign up for Michael Bunker's Patreon. You've been gifting it to us on there, haven't you? As part of your
yes. They'll get part 3 too.
Okay,
Patreon.com/Michael Bunker.
And
when are we thinking like part 3? What was our kind of loosely scheduled? Obviously, please God.
It'll be this month. Forbes has finished it, and it is good. And I'm just doing my little thing, which is making it readable.
Michael, how do you have time with all this stuff that you're doing to just keep putting your story out on Patreon? I mean, you're sending out, when you put it up, you were going to try to do like a chapter a month, but I think I've been following it since the beginning. I think you've been doing almost 2 chapters a month. Plus now
seems like because I'm doing short stories as well.
Yeah.
This month I'm doing. I put out chapter 10 of Hell in the Sea. I'm doing a new Jessup time travel story called Jessup's Time, and then Time Looter Part 3, and so I'm really I'm writing full time right now, and by that it's not like the lie of the last 4 years where I wrote like once a week. I'm actually writing.
You're right. Plus you do daily videos on Facebook, or almost daily videos. I know you did them daily for a while,
right?
And then you started a podcast. So
right.
You're staying pretty busy.
Yeah, it's just like Forbes. He gets up in the morning about noon and has a couple cigarettes, and then goes down and chases the mail guy until he finds the neighbor's Social Security check, and then he's got to fence that, and then he writes for about 10 minutes, never empties the ashtray. So it's almost just like that.
And then,
wait, Preston, I've been out to Michael's place. Can we just say, Michael, can we just tell everyone the truth that you have like a whole, like there's about 10 indentured servants from Ireland in your backyard, and all they do all day is...
The Irish are very conducive to my particular charms.
Right. But then you forgot that after he's done for writing for 10 minutes, Forbes has to go manage the Benbow Inn, and he's still trying to get Jason to fix the was it the Coke machine that he still has?
I'm still trying to get Jason to fix the Coke machine. That's never going to happen. Jason's off the reservation right now. He's 86 from the joint as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I got 86 from the joint because I went in there and tried to buy some Cools out of the cigarette machine, and I got a Pez, and tried to get my money back and got hit in the face with a stick. And so they said, don't come back if you don't like Pez.
Yeah, and exactly. That's all exactly went down,
And I think the last I heard that the drink you invented for the Leigendarium is still the bestseller.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
I drink a lot, so I'm just gonna go. Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's what I. That's exactly what happened there. Yep.
Yeah,
that's funny. Well, here at 30-minute author interviews, we like to end on a segment that we call the legendary ending. Now these questions aren't necessarily all book related, but in a way they kind of are. So we'll start with I can't remember who I started with last time, so we'll start with Michael first. Michael, what songs are currently on your writing playlist?
Oh, I listened to Loudon Wainwright the Third, Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road, and anything by Turnpike Troubadours.
Now, is this on your vinyl that you do this, or do you have it like on your computer?
On my vinyl, it's all right now. It's all Glenn Miller all the time.
Okay.
Dork.
Unbelievable. That's so judgmentalizing.
Glenn Miller, God.
So
Wow.
Forbes.
I was waiting for the boys to come home. I just hope that they get back okay. You know, they're taking the beaches of Normandy, and I have to have a dance a jig.
So Forbes, what is on your writing playlist right now?
Oh, I got Kavinsky. I got Com Truise. I got, let's see what, I got.
Guys screaming for 40 minutes.
Yeah, that is true. Robbie Robertson. Doors, Hank Williams III, and Johnny Cash and Leonard Cohen.
Okay,
There you go.
I think only one of those was on your playlist last time you were on, so it's good to see that it's changing around a little bit.
Yeah, I've gotten into like the 80s. Like, there's a cool like movement of like musicians out there. It's still a little bit more underground, but Stranger Things kind of changed it around where like everyone's getting into that 80s synth sound.
Right,
Kind of like
right.
the 80s movie had that certain like that sound to like their soundtracks, and everyone's kind of playing off of that. So that's what I've been into a lot.
Okay.
Com Truise is awesome. I would want to meet Com Truise. I'm sure he's cooler than Tom Cruise.
I want to say Com Truise is who you mentioned last time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Com Truise I'm a big fan of. I think that's some cool shit. And then Kavinsky is awesome. Kavinsky, the only thing mainstream ever was that he did the title track to Drive with Ryan Gosling. So yeah, this is some cool stuff. Unlike Michael, I'm actually ahead of the curve here. I'm not like behind the times.
Glenn Miller. Benny
Hill. Let's still have Benny Hill.
That's funny. All right, Forbes, we're going to come to you now for this next question. Next question is, if you were stuck in a zombie apocalypse, which one of your book characters would you want to be stuck with and why?
Sarah Orange, because she can do magic and she's female. And I think I don't need to say the rest.
Okay. How about you, Michael? If you were stuck in a zombie apocalypse, which one of your book characters would you want to be stuck with?
Most of my book characters are pretty creative and talented and skilled. Goa Eagles is a natural go-to because he has tobacco and he's a good fighter. Mm-hmm. Or from Pennsylvania, or Pook Rayburn, who's also a pretty good fighter, but he doesn't carry tobacco with him. So I'm going to go with Goa Eagles.
Okay.
Why actually just choose on raw tobacco? That seems like a bad choice, unless you're just going to sit there in like your basement bunker and like actually remake it.
I was talking to you. This is my part of the show. And so the other one that I would do, wait. The other one I would, from The Last Pilgrim's Piggy, is the guy, if you just don't want to fight, you just want to like walk behind him, like the guy from Princess Bride, the short guy. Uh-huh. And you got the giant Piggy from The Last Pilgrims.
Okay. So Forbes, part 2 of this question is, what if you were stuck in a zombie apocalypse with any character from any media source of your choice, who would you want to be stuck with and why?
Negan, because he rebuilt society and we get half of everyone's shit.
Okay. And how about you, Michael?
Oh, it would be anybody from any of the YA books where they just have magic for no reason and can do whatever they want.
Okay.
Because they're 14 and they have angst.
There we go. That works. So, Michael, we'll come to you first for this next question. If you had a time machine, where would you travel and why?
I would travel to 1812, Moscow, escaping from Napoleon, but just far enough to watch Moscow burn and Napoleon really, really, really have a tantrum.
Okay. And how about you, Forbes?
If I had a time machine, I can go back to any time period?
You can go back to any time period. You can go.
I'm going to guess.
You can go
Cuba
forward.
No, I would not go forward because I feel like it's all lights out in the future. I don't think we got much time left.
There's nothing positive about going forward.
Right.
No, there's nothing positive about that. I
Cuba
think
1955. Cuba 1955.
Cuba 1955.
You know that's what you're going to say. Just say it.
I would say, yeah, probably Cuba 1955. Whenever they had no, actually no, that's not true. I go to Key West in 1933. Go hang out with Hemingway, go fishing, and then
no. You can do that from Cuba and stay at the International.
Yeah, that's true, but it's like there's only like 5 years left, man. I mean, like, am I stuck in time, Preston? How does this work?
You can come back.
We need a ruling. Can you come back?
Okay, well, if I can come back, I'll probably go to Cuba in 55 and hang out there, maybe buy a house or something with my cool money.
Okay.
Because, I mean, if I got time travel, I'm probably already this Robin crap left and right. Maybe even do a little bit of a time looting, Michael.
Yeah. We could bring Batista with us, and we could
adventures.
There we go. That works. Forbes, will come to you for this one first. If you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, one superpower, what would it be and why? So I can't say Superman. I gotta say a power of Superman, right? I can't be I want to be Superman and be I gotta be the invincibility part of Superman, or I could be the flying part of Superman, right? I can't take the whole package.
No, you can't be all of Superman.
Nope.
Okay, I can't be all of Superman. Definitely. Ability to turn invisible. Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, go watch people.
Yeah,
that's scary. That's creepy and bad.
Sneak in the banks and stuff like that.
That's not what you're talking about.
I just I follow you around and I push you down the stairs.
No.
That kind of stuff. I mean, it's got to be invisibility. I mean,
bathhouses.
I don't want to live forever because, if I live forever, I'm floating in space in 2 million years, and that's going to suck hard. So I can't live forever. I don't know. Maybe you could say Wolverine's healing ability. That's kind of fun, but that seems like that I'm so.
Oh, you don't get all of them. Shut up.
Probably. You know what? Actually, probably Wolverine's healing ability, and then I can just throw myself in cars and get insurance money.
Okay, that'll work. How about you, Michael? If you had one superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, so you only get one, unlike Forbes, who
That's right.
Gets to go through the panoply of superpowers. If I had one superpower, it would be to quell dissent.
Okay.
Oh my God! Wow.
Starting right now.
Laugh out loud. Lame. Quell dissent. Hey, what's your power? Oh, Superman! You can jump off of high buildings. You can outrun a speeding train. What's your superpower, Michael Bunker? I quell dissent.
In the minute you didn't like my answer, you get quelled.
Here at the Justice League headquarters, Michael Bunker quells dissent.
That's right. If you think about it long enough, you're going to agree with me.
There we go. Give it some
time.
time.
I'm not going to pay the Justice League dues. Well, I don't know about that, Michael. I think you got to pay the Justice League dues. We got to pay for this Justice League headquarters.
You don't get to disagree. Sorry, I got a superpower.
Oh, Michael uses superpower inappropriately. All right.
That's funny. All right, so Michael, we'll come to you for this one. It's the question that we're famous for here. A penguin walks through the door right now wearing a sombrero. What does he say and why is he here?
He says, excuse me, where is my zebra? And he is there to get my superpower. Okay. Of quelling dissent.
There we go. All right, Forbes, how about you?
You'd be in there and I'd be like, oh God, what did I have? And then I would start screaming and he goes, no, you have to save the future. And that's what he said.
There we go.
It's always good when somebody else writes your punchline.
There we go. Yep. Well, before we leave, Forbes will come to you for this one. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Do you have any advice, whether it be for writing or for life, that you would like to share with our listeners?
I think actually the best advice really is that when it comes to writing, stop thinking what the other person's doing. And maybe this is even life advice. I think a lot of times people always look over their shoulders to see if it's okay with the crowd, always. And yes, the crowd is not necessarily wrong. If you're doing weird, hinky shit and it's it's totally out of bounds, it's yeah, okay, there's a boundary. But I think people think the boundary is way too close to where they're at. And I think people just need to take a moment and just do what they love and stop seeing what the trend is supposed to be. Because again, the real people that stand out are the ones who do something a bit different. I mean, they're the ones that actually take a chance on stuff. I mean, you only got one shot at life. Why are you just going to be sitting there the whole time thinking
these are just Eminem lyrics. All you're doing is saying Eminem.
No, it's not Eminem
That's not
lyrics.
an answer.
It's
if you had one chance, would you take it?
Yeah, you know what? Oh, I'm sorry. It's Eminem lyrics, you ass. I was actually going to give you a compliment. You're just the epitome of an Eminem song then. That's all I'm going to say about you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
8 Mile Trailer Park. Jerk.
Need to turn on the instrumental so we can hear Michael finish rapping the song.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you got to put the Glenn Miller.
Mom spaghetti.
Yeah, put some Glenn Miller on, for the boys in the bank. But no, I really do think that. I think that people always look over the shoulder all the freaking time, and they always want to follow the crowds, and they never try to do anything really different.
Can I ask you a question about that? Just ask you a question.
Oh, well, the guy
has anybody ever even accused you of doing anything that the crowd would like?
Says the guy who lives in a bucket in the woods. Okay, yeah, I'm going to take this apart.
Oh, that's too funny.
Just wondering.
So how about you, Michael? Do you have any advice, whether it be for writing or for life, that you would like to share with the listeners?
Yeah, I think...
Tolstoy told me. I know that Tolstoy.
I would say that you need to moderate your certainty. That's it. That's the end of it.
Okay.
I want quell dissent, moderate your certainty.
There we go.
That's when you make up a meme for this show. Have Forbes little teeny, like 1 inch by 1 inch in the corner with a duck bill, and then the rest of it is just those two quotes.
That'll work.
and a quote from Michael saying, like, I totally didn't steal this from Tolstoy. Totally not.
I stole everything from Tolstoy. Everybody knows that.
I think I'm going to tease this episode with saying, tune in to hear Michael Bunker rap Eminem lyrics.
That's right.
It's a surefire hook.
That is too funny. Well, we'll go to Michael for this one. Michael, where can listeners go if they want to learn more about you or your books, or buy a signed copy of Pennsylvania before you might have to change the title?
MichaelBunker.com is a great place to go. You can also, of course, find me on Amazon. Just put in Michael Bunker. I'm the guy that shows up there, got a big beard. And if you go to michaelbunker.com, you can get signed hardback copies of Pennsylvania before it becomes one of those zeitgeist things, and everybody has T-shirts and stuff of Amish sci-fi.
Or straight to DVD sci-fi thing that your mom finds thinking that was something else entirely. And then she gives it to you and you're like, oh, this is not Transformers, this is Transmorphers.
the first time sci-fi Lifetime movie. Oh, that's funny.
I'll take.
How about you, Forbes? Where can people go if they'd like to learn more about you and your stories?
Well, ForbesWestBooks.com. That's the Bembo Inn right there. That's my hangout. So ForbesWestBooks.com. And then also Amazon has everything I've been publishing. So again, you look up Forbes West, you're bound to run into me. And Amazon, God bless them. And Fenton Cooper. We say it 3 more times, he comes out of the mirror.
There we go. Well, thank y'all for taking time out of your day and coming on 30-minute author interviews. We appreciate it. Thanks
for having us, man. It's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Preston. Preston is a chief and a prince. It's awesome.
I try.
Yes.
Thanks. Well, everybody, that's all the time we've got for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to 30-Minute Author Interviews. We hope you come back next Wednesday and every Wednesday for a brand new author interview. And don't forget to head on over to Leigendarium.com and check out the show notes for this episode. In the show notes, you'll find out how you can win a signed copy of Nighthawks at the Mission by Forbes West and a signed copy of Brother Frank by Michael Bunker. You will also find link to our sponsors over in the show notes as well. Our sponsors are Cereal Box and the Galactic Satori Chronicles by Nick Breaker and Paul E. Hicks. So head on over to Leigendarium.com, get registered for the giveaway, visit our sponsors, and let them know you heard about them here on 30-Minute Author Interviews. And we'd also like to thank a few of our Patreon subscribers. We would like to thank Nick Breaker, Diane S. Loftus, Third Scribe, and Maggie Stewart Grant. They are supporting 30-Minute Author Interviews through Patreon, and they're also receiving the very special Patreon-only podcast called 10 Questions With. So visit patreon.com/legendarium and find out how you can support 30-Minute Author Interviews as well. Until next time, stay legendary. the Leigendarium 30-minute author interviews. I almost had it in one take.